on ChannelOne TV's weekend news and current affairs program. The big issue are urging civil society organizations to monitor a government fund to be set up for the revitalization and development of Bawku. They also want government to proceed cautiously in implementing the recommendations of the Otumfuo mediation report. There is more in this report.
The government's plan to establish a 1 billion Ghana cedis fund aims to support the implementation of recommendations from the Otumfuo-led mediation report. However, security consultant Richard Kumado is urging CSOs to monitor the fund to be set up for the revitalization exercise.
I'm thinking that once the implementations begin to fester, we should ask Imani Ghana, Frank Kujo and his team to do a financial risk assessment to see whether the monies are being used for the purposes for which they have been outlined. And the specific projects earmarked for the monies have been followed.
Meanwhile, the West African Network for Peace Building wants government to adopt a careful approach in implementing the mediation recommendations and provide platforms for affected groups to seek clarification where necessary.
The government, as I said, should hasten but to tarry. They should not do things just because probably they have the power. Because at the end, the key thing is how do we contain the situation? How do we make sure that our own interventions do not do harm to the good process? Because all the parties, acknowledge that there is a need for peace.
On the fight against illegal mining, also known as Galamsey, coordinator of Eco-Conscious Citizen Awula Sewa welcomed Parliament's repeal of LI 2462, which allowed the president to permit mining in forest reserves. She, however, described the move as long overdue. According to her, despite the repeal, illegal mining continues to pose a serious threat.
It's an existential threat. We're on the verge of an ecological catastrophe. Why has it taken so long to repeal LI 2462 when in opposition? It was being touted that we'll repeal LI 2462. We will do this, we'll do that. We're able to promptly repeal the EI levy. Were able to repeal the betting tax, which did not cause an existential threat. So we are grateful, but what we are saying is that all LI 2462 is doing is protecting our forest reserves. What needs to happen is that we need to, first of all, strengthen the Forestry Commission so that the guards are well equipped so that they can protect our forest reserves. And let's be clear, this is not the time to be doing NPP, NDC. Both have failed Ghanaians.
While the new Patriotic Party, NPP, maintains that the current administration has been slow in tackling illegal mining despite campaign promises, the United Party disagrees. The party argues that the government has demonstrated the political will to fight Galamsey and blamed the previous NPP administration for passing LI 2462 during its tenure.
And if you look at that conference that President Mahama had with the civil society, read his body language. It looks as if Galamsey never bothered him. Because over there he painted a picture that actually depresses me. The picture he painted it's like Ghana doesn't have the capacity to deal with it. Because he said that, look, there's no need to declare a state of emergency. Because what was the reason why he said there was no need to declare a state of emergency? One of them was that there is a team that told him state of emergency were not needed. Another reason is that there are more tools for him to use before state of emergency. If there are more tools for you to use, wouldn't you have used it from day one if it is an existential threat?
The bottom line is that it has been repealed, whether we forced him, whether he was cajoled, whether CSOs had to cry, whether it has been repealed. Now, if I have one regret, I have one disappointment about all of us as Ghanaians, then it was in our inability or our refusal to impeach Nanado when he committed this heinous crime in how he deliberately fooled Galamsey.
Meanwhile, on the government's resubmission of the lithium mining agreements with Barari DV Ghana Limited to Parliament, Franklin Kujo of Imani Africa raised concerns about the proposed 7% royalty rate. He called for a review of the agreement to ensure Ghana derives maximum benefits from its lithium resources.
It's setting a higher rate of about 12%, but it's starting off at a rate of 7%, given the terms of things. And we think that, well, we agree that, look, we thank him for accepting the fact that it is better to determine the royalty, allow more like a seesaw process, which is essentially the sliding scale method. So we agree with him that the 12% maximum is fine. We agree with that. But we still think that the minister should, I would think he hasn't served us properly by suggesting that he wants to start on the basis of a 7%.
The company engaged government about the economic viability of the country, of the project. Indeed, many other countries were actually reneging in investing in that sector because of the pricing window. So Ghana, this government had an option, either to put on hold the agreement or get it to function, even in the midst of the volatility in terms of pricing. And so that's the reason why we decided to look at where we could cut the overhead costs to still make it economically viable for the investor to operate and be able to throw out jobs.
Now, women in the northern part